because deadlines come and go very quickly. So it's better to keep your eye on them. Bristol happens to be located on an array of hills, and I was not being given certain opportunities because I did not have a degree or because I did not have the kind of experience.
Hello guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of College Junior Student Connect. I'm your host Sheikh Kaba, and today I have with me my friend and junior from my school, Devneel Goswami. Devneel, how are you?
I'm good, Kaba. How have you been?
I'm good too, bro. Thank you so much. Devneel is pursuing his Masters in Public Policy from the famous University of Bristol. So Devneel, without any further ado, let's get started. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Devneel. Before I ask you about Bristol, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm doing my Masters in Public Policy at University of Bristol, as Kaba already told everyone. I want to be a political journalist in the future, and hence I'm doing Masters in Public Policy so that I gain the right kind of knowledge and authority to speak about this subject. Public policy so far has been fascinating. It has been full of a lot of theoretical knowledge along with a lot of practical field experience that we're getting to observe in the readings that we're given and the signposts with which we're pointed to in the right direction. And it has been great to build up the foundation for pursuing a career in political journalism.
That's great to hear. That's fascinating. We really need a lot of good political journalists in the times that we live in all around the world. So Devneel, the first question that comes to mind, while deciding, we had a lot of conversations before you went to Bristol. We had spoken during the pandemic also. I presume you passed out your bachelor's in which year?
I finished my bachelor's in 2019.
2019. So
yes.
Why did you not join Bristol in 2019 itself? Did Corona play? Yeah.
I'll tell you why. 2019, I remember being a confused little undergraduate degree holder, and I did not really know what to do. And after a degree in history, I felt like it was not the right subject for me to pursue. So I thought I'll gain some practical hands-on experience in the working life so that I have a better knowledge of what to do. That's when I joined the Wire. That is one of the news portals based out in New Delhi. And after a lot of conversations with a lot of intellectuals and very intelligent people that I was lucky to be surrounded with, I realized that political journalism is what I would like to do. And to pursue that, public policy would be the right way to go. I got through University of Bristol in 2020 actually. But as you said, because of Corona, I deferred my offer. And because I wanted to have in-person learning and teaching, I deferred my offer to 2021 in the hopes that we would switch back to the offline mode of learning. And I was lucky that we did. And yes, now I got to live the full-fledged abroad university experience. Okay, so I'm happy about that.
So you worked for the organization, The Wire, for a year?
No, I actually worked there for 3 months till the end of 2019. From 2020 January onwards, I focused all my energy towards getting into the universities of my choice abroad. So I got into University of Bristol in April 2020, but I deferred my offer to next year. And all this time, I felt like I had hustled really hard until 2020 April, and I felt like I had done a lot of work. So I wanted to take a break. So instead of diving into work once again, I went home to my parents and I sort of explored the other areas of interest that I had. For example, I learned how to play drums, and I spent more time with my family, my dog. So yeah, I sort of went into a place where I could relax and come back stronger.
Okay. So Devneel, after you finished your bachelor's, you're not sure what you wanted to do, whether you wanted to start working or you wanted to do your master's. When was it that you decided actually, you wanted to pursue master's and that you wanted to pursue your master's from outside India?
So I would have to answer that question in parts. Yeah. I have always wanted to pursue a master's because I realized I had to be a master of a certain field to sort of explore my career options in it.
Okay.
The thought of studying in a university abroad was there in my mind from my days in Hindu college itself. because I wanted to have the whole abroad university experience. I wanted to study in a quality institution, be among peers that were intelligent and smart, and be in a place where world-renowned professors taught education in a high-quality manner. And that's what I wanted to do. That's something that was a dream, and I wanted to fulfill that dream.
Okay. And walk me through your journey of applying, because as you said, because it's a cumbersome process. It's a long journey. So how long did it take you from, the first you thought I'm going to apply for, XYZ university abroad? How long did it take you from the initial step till you got your final acceptance?
Right. So this is going to be a bit of a long answer, so I hope you bear with me.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I did was I gave my IELTS exam in 2019.
Okay.
And I realized that is one thing that I had to do first and foremost. It was the first entry requirement. Towards the end of 2019, I also started making Excel sheets of different colleges and their rankings, and different universities and their rankings, and the kind of subjects that they had and the subjects that interested me. I also started simultaneously writing my statement of purpose, why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So that is something, and my SOP, I wanted it to be tailored perfectly. So that process took me a whopping 4 months. So I started in December 2019, I ended it in March 2020. Along with that, I also had to gather letters of recommendation. So one of them was gathered from my favorite professor in Hindu College, and another one was gathered from my supervisor at the Wire. Both of them wrote lovely letters of recommendation after having nagged them for so long. But in the end, I got what I wanted. But and in April 2020, after 2 days of having submitted my application at University of Bristol, I got my offer letter.
That's great. So you mixed up your LORs as one as academic and one a professional LOR.
Yes, correct.
Would you suggest that for the aspiring students who are watching this video, that if they have professional experience, to mix it up with one LOR from your teacher and one LOR from your organization that you're working in? Would you suggest that?
Absolutely. I think it shows the kind of diversity that you would bring into a classroom, and it also shows that you have worked, survived, and cultivated a work ethic that you will bring into the institution to sort of contribute. As much as I believe that it is the university's responsibility to educate you, it is also your responsibility as a student to give back to the university, to contribute to the community that you're going for. And I definitely think that a professional LOR proves that you bring something to the university in terms of having a good work ethic as well.
The one where you said you made the Excel sheet, that's a lot of hard work which you put in. Like I myself looked into the rankings when I applied, but making an Excel sheet, and that's a very good process which you went through, because I feel everyone should do that. To have a detailed idea of the universities that you're applying to. So Devneel, what do you think was the main factor one of the main factors which you think made Bristol accept you?
So I did not have a 65% in my graduation, which is considered as decent marks to get into a university. I had a 63%, but I think what separated me from the rest was that I had a lot of extracurricular experience. So I'm somebody who cannot sit still. I have to get my hands onto something and do something that makes me feel like a useful person in life. So after graduating from the Assam Valley School, I was in Hindu College, and I realized that there were no department magazines for two departments that I was a part of, the Northeast Cell and the Department of History. So I actually took the task of establishing two magazines for both the departments, and I worked there as editor-in-chief. That was one thing. Plus, when I was working at the Wire, I realized that a lot of news topics were not being picked up by the mainstream media, and I was not being given certain opportunities because I did not have a degree or because I did not have the kind of experience. So I actually opened my YouTube channel, Let's Talk About This, where I hosted this show where I talked about policy and media and the recent news topics that I deserved to be on the screen. I'm choosing my words very carefully right now.
Okay.
So, and those are the things that I think separated me from the rest. Plus, this is very important, I also had a lot of volunteering experience. I had volunteered for certain projects where I had directly contributed to the community. And I think that's also very important. Volunteering is definitely, that is a huge plus point when you're applying abroad.
So, is your YouTube channel still valid? We can put a notification, the link below.
Yes, it's still valid. And okay, so this is kind of awkward, but I thought I would announce this at a later time. Yeah. But the YouTube channel has been dead for 2 years, but we're shooting episode 4 here in Bristol in a month.
That's great. That's great to continue. And I guess all the viewers should take note, because we always I myself thought this, and I've interviewed quite a few people till now, and everyone says the same thing, that the marks are the threshold, and then they start looking at your other things. If your marks are bad, it's automatically they discard. I won't say discard, but your chances automatically become less. But as you said, you are one living example where I knew you're a very studious person, you're a very intelligent person. The very fact that you studied in a Hindu college is not easy to get through. We all know that. Anyone in India knows that, and abroad too. So the very fact that you said your extracurriculars, your volunteering experience, plus your work experience, everything added together separated you from the rest and made you get into Bristol, despite you not having the required percentage, the threshold marks. Am I right?
Yeah, you're sort of right in saying that. I'm not gonna label it as a required percentage, but I would label it as something that is looked out as, that is one of, it's like a requirement. Yeah, it's like an unofficial requirement. If you have that, it's good. If you don't have it, okay, maybe not that great. But I had to really sell myself to the institution as somebody who had done a lot of work beyond my academia, because I did not have very good marks to show in my academia. And that is one reason I did not apply to LSE or Oxford or Cambridge, because I realized I would not qualify for these institutions. These institutions had also a very low acceptance rate. I think it's around 10%. But for University of Bristol, it's much higher. It's above 50%.
Okay. So we can say this, at least, I guess, if I'm not wrong in saying this, to all the aspiring students, even if you don't have the required percentage, but if you have enough volunteering experience, you have enough extracurricular activities that you have done, that automatically increases your chance of getting accepted to the university of his or her choice, right?
Absolutely. And even if you don't have the marks, just apply. It's not gonna harm you in any way, and it's free. The applications are free. Just submit your application. Let's see what happens.
Bristol application was free. Because when I was applying, I had to pay it's like most of the applications were like £100 or €100.
Yeah, Bristol was free. I applied to 3 universities: Bristol, Edinburgh, and I did not finish my application for York, because while I was applying, I got through Bristol, so I was like, I'm done. Edinburgh, Bristol, and York were free to apply in. I don't know about other universities.
So, okay, guys, so do keep it in mind. University of Edinburgh, University of York, and University of Bristol are free to apply to. So do definitely try for these universities, and Devneel can attest to the fact that University of Bristol is a wonderful university. So Devneel, how has your experience been so far in Bristol? Was it everything that you hoped for? Do you think it's value for money? I'll come to the financial part. How's your experience been so far? You've lived there for how many months? You finished a semester, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I'm 6 months down the line, actually. My second teaching block, as we call it here, is about to finish. And then I will get down to writing my dissertation. Okay. So Bristol, if you like a vibrant culture in your university, if you like a nightlife that is active, if you like a lot of events that are happening all around the university that sometimes it's difficult to even keep track of because there's so much happening all the time, Bristol is definitely the place to be. And as far as academics go, I have found some of my favorite professors here who explain the topic to me so well and signpost me towards such wonderful resources that there is very minimum work that I have to do. And since I'm a lazy person, that works very well with me.
Okay.
And when it comes to extracurricular activities, which, as I already said, I always end up doing, Bristol is a thriving culture. It's a cornucopia of things happening with undergraduates and postgraduates coming here and utilizing their imagination to their optimum potential. It's a fascinating place where fascinating things happen. People are productive, and you'll never have a boring day once you're here.
Okay, so this is a 1-year course, I'm presuming, then your MSc?
Yes, it is a 1-year course.
Okay. So, Devneel, give us a few examples of the extracurriculars that you're doing, just in brief, briefly. Which are the associations or societies that you're a part of right now?
As of now, I'm a part of the Bristol University Sustainability team. So, so that reports directly to the Sustainability Office of the university, and it works for the environmental projects and causes. Bristol University is gearing up towards being carbon neutral, and it is also gearing up towards reducing its carbon footprint and establishing an atmosphere where there is the least amount of pollution and where it can fall in line with the Sustainable Development Goals declared by the UN.
Yeah, UN.
And we have an office for that, and we also have volunteers tirelessly working to sort of spread the message and campaign for it. And I'm proud to be part of this team.
That's great. That's great to hear, Devneel. So, Devneel, we have spoken about your journey, and you've spoken highly about Bristol. UK is pretty expensive. I know a lot of friends have been, and everyone will attest to that fact. UK is very expensive compared to every other country apart from US.
Right.
So, if you don't mind me asking, Devneel, how did you fund it? Is it self-funded, or did you manage to get any scholarship from the university? Are there any scholarships available for other students? International.
Okay, so I managed to get the Think Big postgraduate scholarship that is offered by the University of Bristol. So that is the one reason I chose Bristol instead of Edinburgh, which I had also gotten into, because I realized that at Bristol I would have a chance to get a scholarship. With Edinburgh, my options were not there or very, very limited, and I did not want to take my chances. With the Think Big scholarship covered about 20% of my fee structure, my tuition fees, and to fund my father, who I'm grateful to, paid the accommodation fees himself, and the rest of the tuition fee was covered by a student loan that me and my father took out from Canara Bank. And that has been, these are the sources of funding that I have received.
Okay, so you took a loan, you took an education loan, and your father is funding the rest. Father is funding partially, and the university has given you a 20% scholarship. What are the requirements of the scholarship? If you could just briefly speak about it, the name of the scholarship and what are what are the requirements of the scholarship?
Okay, so the Think Big postgraduate scholarship, wow, that's a big name. It has a certain requirements. There are 3 questions that you have to answer in an assessed essay, which they will use to see whether they will fund you or not. The essay it's a 3-parter. The first part asks you actually of the kind of academic and extracurricular activities that you have undertaken, which proves your credibility. The second question asks you about the kind of services that you have provided to your community, which was covered by my volunteering part. And the third question that they asked is about how goal-oriented you are. What are your goals and why you have chosen University of Bristol to sort of fulfill your career dreams, and how University of Bristol can help you. So I think you need to be a very clear-minded individual to answer particularly the third question. And if you can show credibility in all 3 questions and come up with a lot of experience and facts that you have gone through, then definitely you will be getting the scholarship.
You have shown and you have got through. You have shown and you have got.
The scholarship is also very competitive. I think out of 5,000 applicants, about 180 or 190 of us got it.
Wow,
so
that's amazing.
That's like less than 2%. So
congratulations on getting the scholarship, Devneel. So is the scholarship amount, does it vary, Devneel, like from 20% to 100%? Does it vary, or
yes, it does. So it's either 20%, 50%, and 100%. So it's not exactly the percentage of your tuition fee. It comes up to figures. So I'm describing the numbers in percentages according to what your fee structure is. It is a tuition fee waiver. So for example, if your tuition fee is lesser than the scholarship amount provided to you, then you wouldn't get the rest of the scholarship amount. It's just that your tuition fee for that year will be 0.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So Devneel, how much time did you spend in this, in answering the questions that were asked in the scholarship application? And like how much importance did you place in answering these questions?
I place a lot of importance in answering these questions. I spent about 2 weeks, and yes, I really had to carefully evaluate my experiences so that I could sell myself to the university real quick, really well, and so that I could make them believe that I could make a real contribution to the community in Bristol as well.
Okay, so that's what they also look at, like the community in Bristol, not only to the entire community at large or back home, but also what you can contribute to the university. And you said you spent like 2 weeks,
right?
In preparing your answers for the.
Hello, I actually happen to be a perfectionist. So when it comes to doing something, I want to do it right. And since I had time on my hands, since I had taken a gap year, I tried to do it as best as possible.
That's good. That's great to hear. So, Devneel, how is your accommodation experience like? Are you staying in university accommodation or are you staying in a private accommodation?
Okay, no, I'm staying in the university accommodation. So this is not, the property here is not owned by the university, but it is a nominated property it's a private property that is assigned by the university for postgraduate students to sort of live here. The university mediates the entire process, and so far it has been great.
So are you living in a single room with shared facilities, or are you living in a studio apartment? What is it like?
So my building has about 80 flats, okay. And each flat has about 4 rooms and with their own attached bathrooms, and we have to share 4. So each flat has its own kitchen that the 4 or 5 occupants share.
And the expenses that you pay are inclusive of the gas, water, electricity, which they usually call outside?
Yes, along with the Wi-Fi.
Along with the Wi-Fi. That's great. That's great to hear. And if you don't mind me asking, like, what are the expenses like staying in Bristol in comparison to London? If you don't mind me sharing, what are your average expenses, including rent, per month?
Okay, so I'm going to include rent in it to sort of give you an official figure.
Yeah.
So the expected accommodation, the expected money that you usually spend on accommodation and other utilities is usually about 1,400 a month to 1,500 a month. Since I'm paying about, this is in pounds, by the way. Yeah. Since I'm paying £1,000 a month for my accommodation in rent. So it depends. And other than the basic accommodation rent that you pay, which covers all the utilities you need, the only other thing that you need to spend on is groceries or other toiletries and other kinds of stuff that you might need. So according to your habits, the costs sort of go up. But excluding the rent, in about £300 a month, I think it's pretty doable in Bristol.
Okay, but £1,000 for rent, do you think it's cheaper if someone did you inquire about private accommodation, if it would be cheaper? Because
I think private accommodation would definitely have been cheaper, but I did not want to take the hassle of going through the entire process, since with the university it was so much more streamlined. Yeah. And I would also have a landlord that I could depend upon in case I needed something. With private, I think it's a little more difficult.
It's more difficult, but it's comparatively cheaper than the university accommodation.
Yes. Also, Bristol is a bit expensive when it comes to cities in UK. It's in southwest of England, and I think in terms of living expenses, it's only second to London. So London is definitely the most expensive city, but Bristol sort of occupies a respected second place when it comes to spending. So cities in the north like Birmingham or let's say Manchester are much cheaper.
This is one fact which I did not know. I thought I did not expect Bristol to be so expensive. I mean, it's just second to London, and London is super expensive. London is super expensive. When you told me about the rent, I was taken aback. I was expecting something like 500 to 600 pounds a month, and when you said 1,000, at that time I came. So this is not to discourage the viewers, but this is to keep in mind that Bristol is an expensive city to live in, as you said, and you'll have to shell out around 14 to 1500 pounds a month, including your rent?
I think Bristol is a Russell Group university that is owned by the Russell Group conglomerate of universities, which in the UK is equal to Ivy League in the USA. It's definitely an amazing university. It's in top 10 rankings for a number of things, and top 15 rankings for my subject, that is public policy.
That's great.
And it's definitely a good investment to make.
That's great to hear. And Devneel, the most important question which everyone wants to know, what are the job opportunities, Devneel?
When it comes to job opportunities, as a student right now, I am on a student visa, that is the Tier 4 UK visa, and I have the right to work 20 hours part-time every week while I'm as a student. After I graduate, I have the opportunity to convert my Tier 4 student visa into a work visa for the duration of 2 years. And this is even if I do not have a job. So I will have to make a certain payment to convert my visa. And once I've done that, I can look for jobs here. So when it comes to me, I think I'm looking at two directions. One is policy consultancy and policy research. The other one is diving headfirst into political journalism. So I haven't decided which route I want to concretely pursue, but I'm looking at opportunities in both directions. And there are pretty good opportunities for international students here both ways.
So as you said, like the conversion of your student visa into work visa, David. So that they allow anyone and everyone to convert the visa on payment of some money, because I guess you would need to show that you have to support yourself. I mean, that is a necessity. That's a prerequisite, I guess, that you have to be able to support yourself. So even if you do not have a job, you are everyone is allowed to apply for the work visa for 2 years, and then they can find a job.
Earlier, it had to be sponsored by a company, or you had to get a written statement of approval from a certain employer. Yeah. But now that is not the case. You can get a work visa even if you do not have a job.
Okay. So,
yeah. And it gives you the right to work in the UK.
Right to work in it. And have you spoken to any seniors, like any international student, be it anyone, like who has from your course, who has managed to find a job? Like I'm specifically talking about non-EU citizens. I mean, now UK is not part of EU anymore, but despite let's not talk about European students. Let's talk about non-European students, people who have found a job in your department, in your course discipline.
Well, not particularly from University of Bristol, but on LinkedIn, I'm in connection with a lot of public policy students who have managed to convert their international student visa into a work visa. And some of them have great jobs. I know one of my friends, Pranit Chaudhary, even he was in our school. He passed out in public policy and administration from University of Strathclyde. And now he's working with the Education Ministry as one of the academic advisors.
Wow.
Then there's another, that is such a great job. And there's another girl I know, she is super senior to me. She is she got through the UK civil services. So she's working as one of the policy advisors there. So I think there are great opportunities if you grind hard, work hard, and make sure all your cards are in order.
So the UK civil services, anyone can apply for it, Devneel? Like, do you have to be a UK citizen, or it's?
So I have looked into it. International students can apply to a variety of positions with very good financial opportunities. It is called the Civil Services Fast Stream. So in this, you can enter as an apprentice or you can enter as a trainee. And based on the work that you sort of do and the knowledge and skills that you bring into the table, they promote you on that basis. And you can finish like a 2-year or a 3-year apprenticeship and earn a good credential for yourself. And if you're good enough, if you think you deserve better, at the end of like the middle of the program or like a quarter of the program, you can request for a promotion, and based on a case-by-case basis, they might allow it, provided on how good you are at what you do.
Okay. So is UK civil services, like, is it the same like the Indian civil service, or is it like a completely different thing altogether? Because like this thing about apprenticeship and, trainees, a little bit of difference. And anyone
yes, it is different. So I think I'm not really sure about this, but I know a few stages that take place. One is the online assessment, in which they check your aptitude, they check your knowledge on certain levels, such as mathematics, logical reasoning, etc. There's also a situational judgment test which takes place. So in this test, they put you in certain situations in the office or in the workplace or in a position of responsibility, and they check how you handle each situation. And the third one is the interview, in which you are faced with a panel of interviewers and you are assessed based on whatever you bring to the table.
Okay, that's great. That's great to know. I mean, so basically there are a lot of opportunities. I mean, I hope you are also looking into that opportunity too, because because I didn't know about this, and I'm sure many people would not know about this opportunity, like about the UK civil services that we can apply, and as you said, someone has already gotten through, and you can work in various different positions, because it's a government job, right? It's a government job. You'll be working for the government.
Yes, it is a full-fledged government job. So Indian parents are going to be so happy about this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the best value of money that you can get if you're going abroad and you're getting a job for the government out there. So Devneel, like wrapping up our video, it's been really nice, and so my last. What would be your advice to the aspirants? The students who are watching this video, who want to go abroad, want to study. What would be one or two advice that you would give them?
I think one thing is to be organized, especially with the dates and the times, because deadlines come and go very quickly. So it's better to keep your eye on them. Secondly, this is one difficulty that I faced while taking my student loan, is that I did not have all my papers in order, especially when I had to keep a certain set of properties as collateral. I did not have all the necessary papers that are required to take a loan from a government bank. So that is something that I would definitely ask students and future aspirants to look into, and otherwise it can delay your application indefinitely.
Okay. And Devneel, I mean, you'll obviously give a biased answer, but I still will ask you. How do you rate Bristol till now, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would definitely give it an 8 and a 9 on a good day.
Okay, why are you detecting that 1 or 2 points? Because we need the honest, answers for the viewers.
Well, Bristol happens to be located on an array of hills.
Okay.
So there's a lot of uphill walking involved. Okay. And since I happen to be a very lazy person, yeah, I'm going to be biased about it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the only thing. And
that is the only thing.
And your classes are completely offline now. There's no online classes, nothing as such.
Yes, classes are offline. And in fact, when it comes to online learning, they provide us a lot of resources, like lectures which are recorded once you're done with them. A lot of reading material is sent to you online on a common platform called Blackboard, which they use to teach. So everything is organized in such a good manner. You actually feel like learning and feel like educating yourself.
And the online lectures, if you have any doubts, are you able to go and clarify them later on with your professors? Are they accessible easily?
Well, other than the online lectures, we also have something called seminars, which you must be familiar with.
Yeah.
So in the seminars, you can definitely clarify your doubts to the professor and ask all sorts of questions related to the subject and satisfy your curiosity to the optimum level.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. Devneel, it was amazing talking to you, as always. And I'm pretty much sure we're going to catch up again very soon. And
thank you so much for having me, Kaba. Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all mine, and College Dunia. We'd also like to thank you for for sparing your valuable time with us. I know your thesis is coming up and you're super busy with it. You've already told me about it. Thanks a lot for sharing your amazing insights with us, Devneel. And I wish you all the best. And I hope you become a great political journalist, or you wish to settle out in the UK. I hope you get to settle out, because that gives me one more chance to come to UK and meet you. And to all the viewers watching this video, do like, share and subscribe to our channel below. It'll motivate us to make more such amazing videos. And if you want us to cover any more universities, any course, any other disciplines, do let us know in the comments below. And we'll be putting the link of Devneel's YouTube channel below. Do give it a watch. He makes amazing content. I've already watched it. And till then, take care. Bye-bye. Catch you all soon. Bye guys.